two things. One, I'm coming to this country. I'm going to be living in this country. Like, I want to soak in the culture. I want to be part of the culture. I want to be as American as I can possibly be, because I'm going to be in this country, you know?
My parents divorced when I was 16 years old. And so any hopes and dreams of them paying my way through college just went straight out the window. And I had no choice because, you know, we had been moved to Vidalia. So I graduated and then, I'm 17 years old when I graduated high school. And then I had to so now you go to college, but who's going to pay for it? So I, like your mom, I cleaned houses. I did, whatever I could, mostly under the table. And, and I had an apartment, I had a car note, I had car insurance, I had utilities, and the apartment complex that I was staying at, it was on the corner of Powers Ferry and Delk. So you can probably guess.
Yeah. And by the Waffle House.
Yeah, it was. and I would go in on the weekends and say hi to the staff. And I remember the manager's name was Glinda, and she became like a surrogate mom to me because I was at this point I was 19 years old, and I was in school. Like I'd go full time and then I'd have to get out and pay off bills, and I'd go full time. And she learned of my struggle, and she's like, why don't you, I will give you a free place to stay if you work on the weekends.
Incoming call from 855-941.
But Alexa, hush.
I love it.
I did. So I started working and I leased more apartments than any of the full-time people just working those 2 days.
Yeah.
And so she decided to hire me full time. So I started working full time, going to school at night. And
see, Melina is a good salesperson because all she has to do is, hi, I'm Melina, look at me, and you need to lease this apartment. And people are like, oh, shit, all right, give me the penthouse.
You're stupid. I love you. So, but I mean, yeah, no,
That's cheating, Melina. That's cheating.
That's you. But no, but like what you're doing, you have to think outside the box. And so I wasn't trying to sell an apartment. I was asking them, so what furniture do you have? And my mom was an interior designer. She would design houses. She would then sell them. She would then decorate them.
That's clever.
So so I have a little tiny bit of her talent, and I could go in and say, okay, so you have what pieces? Okay. Then we need to go and look at this particular unit because that's what's going to fit what you need.
Oh shit.
And then I could tell them.
That's a different approach.
Well, but isn't that how you do it? You know what furniture you have. So when they throw a brochure at you and say, well, let's find this one. Well, actually this one is what's going to fit my stuff. So that's what
the right way to do it is you sell your furniture, you rent the apartment, and then you furnish the apartment.
Okay, Dave, you came from a different story.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's what but I got to tell you, I didn't graduate college. Now I did do the 5-year because I got my bachelor's in psychology with a minor in Soc. And so I didn't graduate until 2 weeks before I turned 25, and I started at 17. So it was a rough road.
From college.
Oh, see, and look at you.
I couldn't. So going back to the papers thing. So I was paying. So let's backtrack right quick, and we'll get to the paying part at KSU. I ended up going to Georgia Primary College basically because I wanted to go to Georgia Tech. That was the end result. I wanted to be a mechanic engineer because when you grow up, moms and dads always tell you got to be a doctor, architect, an engineer, or a lawyer if you want to be something in life. If not, you're probably going to struggle, right? So mechanic engineer was the one thing, or rockstar, I guess. mechanic engineer was the one thing that I thought of because I love cars. I've always had a passion for cars. I was like, oh, maybe I can design cars, car parts, whatever. So I studied my butt off and I got accepted at Georgia Tech, which is really hard to get accepted at Georgia Tech.
Amazing.
And
Yeah,
the day
it
I got
is.
my acceptance letter, I looked at mom and I told her, Mom, I am so sorry. I don't want to go to Georgia Tech. I want to be a mechanic engineer. She's like, what do you want to be then? And I said, well, I want to study psychology and nutrition. And she's like, and what in the world are you going to do with those degrees, right? And I
Nothing
told her
with
stuff, and
psychology,
she's
trust
very
me.
supportive. She was like, you know what? No, nothing. So she was like, well, you know what? Whatever you want to do, you just need to, enjoy it, and you need to be the best at it, basically. But you can be anything that you want to be, And so anyways, so psychology was happening. And then I got into KSU, and as a resident, I was paying like $1,700 a semester, right? And because of the paper situation, not having a social,
Oh God. I mean, when I was
not having a social, they
price went
switched
up.
all that stuff. Yeah. It was $1,700 a semester. And then all of a sudden they say, oh, you don't have a social. It's $11,000 a semester because you're out of state.
Oh my God.
And I couldn't afford that. So what I told my buddies was, hey, that were in the same major is, hey, tell me what books you're buying and send me your syllabus, and I'll just self-study. And that's exactly what I did, So I thought it was better because I realized that I would study to learn as opposed to study to pass a test.
That's true.
And also I realized that I was very efficient at studying later on during the day versus during the regular school hours because of how ADD I am, and that's just I'm very creative in the morning, and I can do shit that's boring in the afternoon, basically. And that's why this podcast is happening at 7 a.m. and we're but yeah. So that's how it happened. And it's been rough because obviously I'm a citizen now and everything is good, but it was kind of funny because once I got my social finally, I didn't need it for shit. I was already a full-blown entrepreneur, and social security number unless you're gonna apply for like really heavy lines of credit, and now I used it obviously, but it was rough though. Yeah, you're literally like trying to do stuff with your hands tied behind your back,
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, that's a lot holding you back. You really, really have to push harder when you don't have the tools available. And you don't think about that, you don't, and that was, and I'm definitely not getting political here, but I think our process for bringing in entrepreneurs and people that definitely came from good jobs, that process of becoming a citizen should be quicker, simpler, and cheaper. And it should be more difficult for those that are escaping a country that they should be fixing.
Right now, as an entrepreneur, in order for you to come in and have a residency card, basically a green card right away, you need to come in and invest $500,000 into a business. And that's how you can get your green card right away. But it's like shit, like $500,000 if you're in a different country, that is, I mean, huge. At that point, you don't care about living in the United States. You probably own half your country.
Right.
So so it's just a lot of money, when you do the currency exchange. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
So that wasn't obviously doable.
I have a girlfriend that I work with that became a citizen last year. Yeah. And it was so fun because she was from kind of that Soviet bloc up there. And she came in. So it was right before we went into lockdown. So maybe it was the end of 2019. But she came in, she had just passed her test. And she says, hello, fellow Americans. With the American flag.
I love it.
It was awesome.
It is cool, though. It's really, really cool. And to me, it was frustrating too, because I have friends, Hispanic friends, that they were citizens because of whatever. So basically, it was frustrating to me because I have friends that had gotten their social security number, citizenships, whatever, and they did not give two shits about being in the United States.
Oh,
So I
right.
would be like,
Oh, wow.
you take your ass back home. You know, like you must love this culture if you're gonna be living here. And you know, before I even had a social, I was like as freaking American as it gets. Like my white friends would be like, dude, you're like more white than we are. And I was like, I'm just, you know, I just love the country. I love the culture. On my dad's side, they were basically straight Americans. So I grew up with pancakes and waffles on Sundays, and you know, all of these things that
Did they
you
work
just
at
don't do
Waffle House?
in Hispanic countries. No. So yeah, so you know, frustrating to say the least, you know.
Right.
And but like I said, you kind of know what you want, and you're just like laser sharp until you freaking get it, you know. So
Yeah.
you like start taking all the stuff out, you start taking all the barriers out, you start moving around, you start jumping, you know, and
And you
until
have
you get
to
what you want. And there's always a way of getting it.
and you have to reinvent yourself constantly.
You have to be creative. You have to be creative, and you have to let people know that it's okay to be creative, you know, because everybody's so normalized, you know, like if it's not something normal, common, popular, something that everybody does, then it's not right, you know. And that's sometimes it's not true. There are a lot of different ways of doing things, you know.
That's right.
And as far as
Find
you're
your strengths.
ethical and honest and you're not trying to mess anybody up, yeah, then
Huge.
you know.
Huge. And there's not a whole lot of that now. There's so many businesses, and trust me, I mean, you know, we were business owners, but there are so, and our partner was not always user friendly. I'm just going to leave it at that. But I mean, but you have to have integrity. And if you have integrity, you will make money. Now, you can't give away the farm,
right?
You know, but if you have integrity and you care about the people that you are providing, you know, your service or your goods to, they will come back and they will tell people, and it will build. It will build. And you may not be a millionaire, but you should succeed.
Yeah, you'll do good. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So, you know,
Madness,
having
though.
a good heart. And you do. I have to share. I have to share with our audience, though, how you and I met.
Bring it.
That was
Costco. Let's go.
Costco. Yes. I was 38, 39. I can't remember, but it was 2008, 2009, something like that. And Nicholas was 8. Do you know he turns 20 in 2 weeks?
That's crazy. Holy cow.
I know. So he was 8, and I had always been in sports cars my entire life. And when I had him, I got a Camry, and nothing against, I mean, Toyota's great, you know, but you know how they have the Camry LE, which is the luxury edition, and then they have the SE, which is the sport edition. I had the CE, which I never understood.
The CE.
So I called it the crap edition. So
it's like as basic as they come, basically.
It was 4-cylinder garbage. And I was in that damn thing for 8 years. And I was like, I have got to get back. You know, I was always a Mustang girl before, but that was because I could afford them. But since I was 3 years old, I've always wanted a Corvette. Since I was 3 years old, it was my favorite car.
Madness.
I know. And so worked hard, you know, put myself through school, did all the stuff, married a good man, you know, and did not go on crazy ass vacations, didn't spend money, all kind of insane whatnot. And then, you know, we were in a good place. Nick's now 8. He can get on the bus. He doesn't need to be in a car seat. So I'm like, it's time. And so there's a whole story about how I got this car. Oh my God. It pissed Kurt off. That's a whole other story for another day. But this is about you and me. So I just bought it. It was my first gas up. and I still had the
Yep.
dealer tag, and pulled into Costco, and then you pull in right behind me in your black Corvette. We both had C5s, right? But yours was a Z06.
Yeah, we both had C5s. You had the 50th anniversary, the
I
2003.
I did in electron blue.
Yeah, that's right, blue.
Madness, gorgeous.
Love
It
it.
mashed my
Yeah.
eyeballs.
Yeah.
So, and
There you go.
so I hop out, and I couldn't figure out how to open the
You
gas
were
tank.
trying to see how in the world to pop the freaking gas tank.
because
Yeah.
there wasn't a button inside.
Because there was a button and it was hidden. Like it was
What?
pretty hidden. It took me a good second though to find it.
Okay, was it because I know the C7s you just tap the mechanism itself and it swings open, but maybe that one
Yeah,
did.
nah.
Couldn't
Not,
find
not
it.
in the C5.
Right.
Yeah.
So you
And
found
I knew
it.
exactly what you were looking for because you're obviously at a gas station trying to freaking find how to open this cap with the drive out tag. I'm like,
So
she definitely doesn't know where to pump the gas cap.
right. I did know how to drive it like a stolen bitch though. So then
That's right, though. That's right.
That's right. And did you ever go to the track with me?
I never
it
went with
Silver
you
Dollar?
though. I did take it to the track.
Well,
Never
you-
been to Silver Dollar.
Your car went to Silver Dollar because you sold it, and the guy that bought it,
Yes.
recognized
Oh my
it. I
God, I
was like,
remember that.
that's
Yeah.
Raul's car. So anyway,
Yeah.
back to the story. So yeah, and so you said, so how are you enjoying the new car? And I was like, yeah, I've been wanting one since I was 3. And then
If I could gas it up and keep driving it.
and then he says to me, he slips me his business card. He says, well, if you ever want to go to a car show, I'm happy to escort you. By the way, what's your major?
I asked you if you were in college. I asked you if
No,
were,
you
like,
asked me
what was
my
your major, what
major.
college do you go to? And then you said psychology. And I was like, holy shit.
No,
Perfect. That's what
you
I'm
were
studying.
22. You were 22.
Yeah.
And
No,
I
right.
laughed. I'm like,
21,
honey,
22.
I am 38 years old. I have long been out of college.
You look like you could have been in college, you know. So.
So like I
You
said,
still do, technically speaking.
oh my God.
Oh,
You hear that, Dave, you better pick up your game. I'm going to have a new best guy friend. So,
oh my gosh.
Boom.
So that's all it takes, huh? Just keep complimenting you.
flattery will get you
Just
everywhere.
flatter
Right.
But
Yes.
it's like, you have to understand, from a lady that is in her midlife crisis getting,
A
a
Corvette.
Corvette for the first time, not in New Balance shoes, thank you.
Okay.
And that's Dave's joke.
The big puffy
Dave
ones. Yeah, go ahead.
I just Mel in her polo shirt and her khaki shorts that are pleated with the
With
belt
the
with
big
Never.
the braided belt, but khaki shorts, braided belt,
Never.
polo shirt tucked in, a little bit of a gut, the New Balance shoes.
Yep, New Balance shoes.
And I'm not kidding you. Yesterday, absolutely, that guy, I saw that he stepped out of his Corvette, and honest to God,
It's real.
it is a real stereotype.
See, when I was in the car club back then, it was all you young guys that were in vets. And then the occasional
Yeah.
lawyer, like Gorilla Vet, had his, that was like 2,000 horsepower or some
These are
bullshit
guys
like
who
that.
don't. These are guys who don't go to car shows, though. They're not super enthusiasts, and so that was sort of what I discovered when I was doing the car show thing. And it was like, we were a bunch of crazy enthusiasts, and then there were these people. We'd say, like, there's all these guys who have these great cars. They don't ever take them out of their house, and it's like they're, it's like, oh yeah, they're just dentists,
But it was great
Surgeons and
meeting
dentists.
him.
Yeah.
Because he was just so precious to do that. And like I said, I was just coming out of this huge low of, this is my life. I am scheduling doctors in 13 different emergency facilities across the Southeast. And this is all I'll ever be. And even though it was a great job, it was a great company, but it was like, really? And then to get my hot car, and then this hot 22-year-old with an accent. You have no idea how that made my day. I'm like, you and I are staying friends, buddy.
That is hilarious. And then you meet her husband, who's like a fucking professional shooter who doesn't miss a fucking bullseye,
and huge, you know, and
you're like, hi dude,
no,
just about the cars. I'm just about the cars. That's it.
But I loved him so much, and he became like a little brother to me. And you know, so then I brought him over to meet Kurt, and you know, Kurt was like, I'm either gonna have to shoot this guy, or he'll probably kick my ass. But I you know, but Kurt loves you, so.
Yeah, nah, he's freaking awesome though.
Yeah.
We definitely had a good time though.
Oh, indeed.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we need to have
Yeah.
more, because here
That's
is
fine.
it's been this time, and I haven't met Ashlyn, I haven't met Aspen, so we need to get together soon.
I know, which is crazy to think though.
Right, I know, because I mean,
Because I started dating Ashlyn in we met in 2012, and I think 2013 is when we started dating.
wow.
So it's been 8 years basically since I
Yeah.
have,
Wow.
and I saw you last. I think it was 2011, 2010.
Something like
So
that.
it's been at least 10 years since I see you.
I know, but we keep in touch,
Crazy.
and that's nice. You know,
Yep.
I mean, it's good to keep your
Yep.
your friends together, whether you see them or not. But okay, so I want to take this now,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you went through a lot of struggles. Your family went through a lot of struggles. Tell us about your business. How did you create it? How did you get here?
I started the dealership. I was pretty deep in nutrition. I was doing clinical nutrition with the doctors that did the nutrition for the US. 2011, I was already pretty deep in nutrition. I was doing clinical nutrition with some of the doctors that did the nutrition for the US Olympic team in London in 2012 and so, and researching, creating workshops, educating, etc. And I kind of went on my own at that point. Well, in 2011, this new division in the bodybuilding world came out for the guys, and it was called men's physique, where you didn't have to be this ginormous, huge guy. You could just have some muscle, have a really good beach body, and you would wear beach shorts, basically board shorts. And it was almost more like a model thing. And I was like, no, not my, not the little thumbs, not my thumbs. I got to that point at some point, and then it wasn't my thing.
Okay.
So as funny as that sounds. So, anyways, so I competed in that in 2011, and then in 2013, I had helped people diet down, and I had a few people ask me like, "Hey, you know, like, can you diet me down? I want to compete." And I'm like, I don't know shit about the competition world, but I can diet you down. I can get you shredded, but that's it, you know. So in 2013, I kept doing that. 2013 comes around, we show up to a competition, and I get to the person who's doing check-ins, and I check in, and then the guy basically asked me like, "Hey, what's the name of your team?" And I was like, "My team." And then I turned around, and you know, I have 5 competitors with me, and I was like, "Oh shit, I guess I have a team." We come up with the cheesiest name ever, and so I had the team, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a bodybuilding team." So I had I basically started marketing more towards the bodybuilding community, towards the bodybuilders, the bikini figure competitors, men's physique competitors, and I was coaching them. I was coaching my lifestyle people. I was coaching then my clinical nutrition people too, and things just started to grow. Well, in 2016, I was showing up to 4, 5, 6 shows a year with anywhere between 8 to 20 competitors, you know, per show. And that's, I think, in 2016, I had tried to buy this store called Nuts and Berries in Brookhaven in Atlanta. And it's a health food store. I started working there in 2014 in hopes to buy the store, because I knew the owners would want to sell it at some point based on what I had heard. And I went in as a manager, and I told the guys, "Hey, whenever you want to sell it, let me know." Long story short, comes 2016, and somebody tells me, one of my reps tells me, "Hey, dude, I know you're a manager, but you may not have a job depending on who the new owners are going to be." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, this store's for sale." And I was like, "Oh shit, I want to buy it. That's the only reason I've been freaking working here, you know, while I'm still juggling all my nutrition stuff." And so I talked to the owners, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we posted it, blah, blah, blah." So I was like, shit. So I went to the store. Now, being a US citizen, it's a lot harder to get a freaking loan, you know, a business loan. So the process took longer. Well, this couple, actually, not a couple, I'm sorry, they're just business partners. They took over, great people. They took over the place, and they actually wanted me to be a manager, but I told them, like, the only reason I worked here is because I wanted to be able to buy the store and have insights on the store, right? So, and started shaping it basically what I wanted it to be. So anyways, went back full blown with the fitness stuff, and I realized during the health food store time, shit, there's a lot of supplements, but there's a big gap in the supplement industry. You know, you can't find high grade, high quality products for the price of the cheaper ones, you know, or close to it. Everything's like way, like 3 times the price, way overpriced. And so I started doing research, and I was like, you know what, like, there's no reason why these products should be so expensive. Like, they're just taking advantage of the fact that, oh, it's grass fed, oh, it's non-GMO, let's just freaking triple the price, right? So I talked to Ashlyn. I had a stage 3 single turbo Porsche then, and I freaking sold it so I could invest into this business. So when
I would have also
deep, and I custom made. It was hard. I still miss that shit out of that car. I basically customized every single formula. I sourced every single ingredient, and I did it the hard way because I knew I wanted the highest grade and I wanted, you know, a good price. And as opposed to, from a business perspective, what I should have done is, oh, let me just private label like a lot of companies do, because then you have minimum orders that are, say, 100 and something to 300 per SKU. Everything's a lot cheaper. Sometimes you can even buy 25 units at a time. When you customize formulas back then, it had to be about at least 750 to 1,000 units per.
Wow.
And I knew what I wanted, and I knew I wanted high grade. I wanted to import from all over the world, and so it required money, and that's why I sold the car. And then I invested all that money into it. I launched the line with almost 14 SKUs. And which is a lot, and it's dumb. It really is. I think that you know, I should have done like a lot of companies do, start with 1, then 2, and then just kind of like evolve from there. But I just wanted to get from point A to point B freaking ASAP. I wanted to look professional as shit, and like I'm a strong company from the get-go, basically. And I poured a lot of energy into it. And so HiFit supplements, HiFit started in late 2016. So when I started formulating in 2016, 2017, we're officially in LLC. 6 months later, I'm dieting to compete. And I'm freaking starving. It's 2 weeks before I compete. I'm hangry, cranky, all types of shit. And I'm working on the computer at night. And Ashlyn comes home from work, and I forgot what she said. And I forgot what I said. And she was like, oh my God, you're so freaking like cranky or whatever. And my response was, well, I'm freaking hungry. And her response was, well, that's your choice. And she was competing too, by the way. And but she wasn't as cranky as me. And she said, that's your choice. And it hit me, and I was like, shit, that is my choice. You know, and you know, I'm depleted. I haven't seen carbs in freaking forever, and I'm foggy. And after the show, you know, I kept thinking about it. Like,
you needed a pizza.
I need a pizza, burgers, beer, all types of shit, and cookies, cheesecake. So, anyways, after the show, you know, when I put some of those foods back in my head, I started thinking, and I told Ashley, I was like, hey, you know what? But hungry as well, and they don't have a choice. So I want to help those kids. And she's like, I mean, that sounds great, but how are we going to do it? And I said, well, we have the supplement line. Let's just donate 25% profits, the proceeds into the foundation. So we came up with the HiFit Foundation, and we basically in 2019 we sent out 10,000 meals overseas. And to kids. I don't care about adults. Adults can walk freaking 30 miles and go get food, but a little kid though, you know, like they just don't have a choice, you know. So anyways, that was my take with it, and that's how HiFit and HiFit Foundation had started. And then we switched to where instead of doing 25% of the proceeds, what we do, one product would buy a meal, you know. and we're rocking and rolling with it.
Oh, I love this.
So,
We'll have to put your websites up.
for sure.
For both of them. So if they want to donate, as well as how to buy your products, and know that there is the donation.
So they can go to highfit.com and then click on foundation.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Sweet. So, and in the midst of all that stuff, you have to though. You have to. Mm-hmm. So in the midst of that, I've been working on other businesses, and some straight shit show, fall on your face, lose a shit ton of money, wrong partnerships, just pretty much went to school freaking 20 times, and then some were okay, some would give me a wash. In 2019, we filed for 11 LLCs, and then 2020 happened. In 2021, in 2020 I ended up getting investing, buying 50% of a med spa, of an esthetician aesthetics business, and turning that into a med spa. And I told Ashton, I said, hey, I really want to focus on this, because this was a 6-figure investment. And so whatever businesses we have that are just making us a wash, or they're just breaking even, or they just need a shit ton of energy or money to get going, let's just cancel, basically stop doing them, So I sold out on the products that I had, machines, whatever, depending on the business. And then I went down to 6 LLCs, which were about to be 8 LLCs again, but I went down to 6 LLCs, just so I could focus more on the med spa, which we did a phenomenal job on it. We just grew like crazy. It was fun. So
you really are a serial entrepreneur. I mean, you're a little crazy.
Let me tell you, 100% disclosure. Let me tell you exactly why. Seriously, I don't think I would, and I never say never, but I don't think I would be a serial entrepreneur if I had done a business that had got me where I want to get. Where then I would have just done one business. But because the businesses that I have done, they've taken me to places. I'm very proud of where I am, but I'm not satisfied, So until I get to that point, I've never had a financial break in my life, you know what I'm saying? So until I get to that point, I'm just going to keep trying every possible business that I think that could work, So
that's awesome.
And investments and things like that, Wow. So, because once again, it's I know where I want, and to me, at the end of the day, what I want is time, but I know what I want. So to me, it's I'm just gonna bust my ass and try every possible thing that I can possibly do until I get to the point where I can have time to do, whatever I want when I want to, with whoever I want to, and for as long as I want to,
You and Dave.
And then there's some material stuff that I want to. Yeah. And there's some material stuff that I want to, I'm not super materialistic, but I'm into houses, I'm into cars, So I have this house basically designed, and that we will have to build, and I have this car collection in my head that I want to continue building, So, and then travel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something about and this was something that I don't know if it was how I was raised or something in my head, that I never put together the idea of rewarding myself for something, and it was interesting because for me,
you're not a dog. You shouldn't.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it was, I think what was it? I ended up, I think, how far into my career was I at this point? It was after living in China. It was interesting because we'd come home one year for Christmas, and I was at Phipps Mall, and they had a display of they had a Maserati Gran Turismo convertible in the mall, and I see this thing, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. This is gorgeous. And then wife walks back, and I look, and I'm like, oh my God, it's only 135,000. I mean, in my mind, when I saw it, I just didn't know cars that well. To me, it looked like something that was much more expensive. It was, just the way it was, the leather, just everything about it. I was like, oh my God, it's beautiful.
Sure.
And so, it was, it just sort of kind of got into my head, and I kept thinking about it. And then, my time in China was done, after the next year. And then it just kind of, that car just, it was like, why, I just really want this thing. And anyway, so it ended up, I actually found a used one, so did not spend $135,000 on it. But
I never buy brand new. Go ahead.
Never
buy brand new. So anyway, but I ended up, but what happened before that was I went to, there was one that popped up used, which was rare at the time. And so I went to the dealership, and, he just we took it for a test drive, and I'm buzzing, and he just goes, I'll just leave you alone for a minute. He just leaves me alone, which is worse than him sitting there trying to sell me. Had he tried to sell me, I would have been easily able to kind of walk away from him. But no, he left me with my own.
Oh, he knew what he was doing.
It was pretty brilliant. And I just started thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? I have been working my butt off almost 11 years, with this one corporation, living overseas, breathing really polluted air, having to be on an airplane, 3 to 4 times a week, to fly to Shanghai and Hong Kong, every single day, practically I was living on an airplane and, just busting my butt. And I was kind of like thinking about my house. I'm like, I don't really, except for my mountain bike and my computer, there's nothing that I don't have anything for me. And I was like, I jumped through all these hoops to justify it. But I realized at that point that there is a lot of value in having goals, even if it's a material goal, go for it.
That's how I am. That's how I am. No, that's true. That's true.
No, I mean,
I'm the same way. I try to justify it. This may get you in trouble and get you to spend more money. So let me tell you how I justify cars. Every freaking car in my house, it's about safety, Dave. Okay, you have to be able to brake fast when you need to, and you have to be able to accelerate out of situation when you need to.
Brembo.
Oh yeah, no.
So every single car that we have, that is literally the analogy. If you're going 80 miles per hour on the highway with your significant other, and you have to slam on the brakes and swerve out or something, what car do you want to be in?
Would you rather?
So a minivan is not happening in this house.
Yeah.
So everything that we buy has to have a 0 to 60 of at least being the 4 seconds.
Yeah, you got to get out of the way.
You got to brake. You got to have big old freaking brakes, and stiff suspension. So even our SUV is like that.
It's for safety.
We make really good financial decisions, not when it comes to cars. I tell people that all the time. It's like, do not listen to me when it comes to cars. You'll be broke. I promise you.
My brother tried to justify all these modifications to his car by saying it would give it better gas mileage. This was the 1978
gas mileage. I did that.
Do you know my C7 has better gas mileage than my CTSV?
I believe it.
I mean, that's
Corvettes had crazy. My C5, I was getting 31 miles per gallon on the highway.
Wow.
41. No, I never got that shit. But
31.
31. 31 I got.
31.
31 I got.
Yeah.
That's awesome. My gosh.
Shit, 41.
Yeah.
Probably going downhill in neutral. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, God.
That's true. I mean, I couldn't get over on the highway in the CTSV. I can't get over 26.
Sure. I mean, that's a heavy car too, though.
But it's not. It weighs the same basically as a Mustang.
Yeah.
Look it up. It's crazy. They're not.
It's a heavy car, Tesla. Yeah, my Tesla was heavy.
The batteries.
Yeah.
But no, I think what I'm
6,000 pound car.
What I'm fascinated by, especially in the topic of we're talking about right now. Aspiring, achieving, the give it a go, our give it a go thing, we're going to focus on all different types of stories, but this idea of what motivates us. And, there's something to be said for creating, and I think of how I raised my daughter. I talked to her kind of at a young age to say, if there is something that you want, you should go ahead and try to set that as a goal. If that's what you need as a goal,
and sometimes don't be ashamed.
No, yeah. And it's like, right now my goals are more about achievement, which, I mean, when I was working, that's kind of where I was too. And it's like, I never really thought I had a material goal. I just thought, this is, career wise, I'll get more challenging projects. And I kind of fueled myself based on more challenge. But you know, there is something super satisfying about it. Actually, Melina, when I met Melina the very first time, this was she was talking about the new C7 and how you wanted one. And I think I met you at John's party, and you were saying, oh yeah, I'm going to get a C7. I'm going to get it in 2.5 years from now because I'm saving up for it.
Saved up for
John
5
Harney.
years. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Saved up for 5
Yeah, I've been
years.
chatting with him.
5
Yeah.
years. I saved up.
And, you know, I'm sitting there feeling like a total, like almost like a loser in comparison to Melina, because, you know, I basically had gotten lucky with being able to cash out some options from Apple to be able to buy kind of a cool car. And it was easy for me in that, you know, sense. But, you know, here's this person who really wants to have an awesome car and is working and is counting the months to the day that she can buy this car and being disciplined about it and working towards it. Yeah. And I was like awestruck at that point, you know, by Melina. I was like, oh my God, this girl's amazing. I know, right? And so it's praise Melina time again. Here we go. We have to make sure that every hour we hit the bell and we have to praise Melina for something.
We have to.
Dave wins again. No, but seriously, I had this cork board behind me that had a picture of, and I wanted to go with the electron blue again, but it was called something different for the C7, but I had it behind me, and I had this, I made all these little numbers. So when it came to 1 year, I would peel off the number, it'd be 350 days until 349 days. And I missed it.
That's crazy.
I missed it by just a few days.
Wow.
I mean, that was dedication.
And when I saw you post that picture to Facebook, because we weren't really close at that point. We were, you know, I think all I had done. 2017. Yeah. And we weren't hanging out like we do now. But you, all of a sudden, I saw you post that picture of your car up, and I just was like, oh my God, you got it. That's amazing. You know, I thought that was so cool. I thought that was cool. So
and talking about that and giving it a go, I still have, I mean, I would show you, but I'm using my phone for this. I have a picture of, I took a screenshot of my buddy Shane. He, in 2015, made a post on Instagram. He had a little scooter, and he started this tree company, and he was handing out flyers. And on the caption, it says, handing out flyers with my scooter, so Lamborghini later. Well, fast track to now, he owns a Lamborghini and a McLaren and a bunch of other freaking badass cars. And so, like, talk about like giving it a freaking go, man. You know,
right?
So shout out to him.
Indeed,
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So
it's motivation, though, you know.
It is, and it's working hard, and everybody's different. And I think what we can take away from all of this is, no matter what your obstacles are, don't have the pity party with it. Just take it and be creative, work with it, work around it if you have to, until you can. Because not everything is given to you straight away, but you have to survive. Yep. So do what you need, you know, as legal as possible, please. We're not advocating,
right.
You know, but
don't follow all my steps.
You know, be legal and reinvent yourself over and over, because I mean, that's what it takes. I don't know a single person anymore. I mean, back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, you know, there was those people, you get out of high school, you go and work for this company, and you're there until you retire and draw your pension. Those days are over. You have to constantly reinvent yourself, and don't be afraid to step out and try something new. And Raul, like you, like Dave, like myself, we've all failed. We've all failed numerous times, but that failure builds you character. It teaches you to do, you know, things differently next time. I mean, we've had failures with this podcast, and we've just started. So, you know, my mic died. I had to buy a new one. My camera died today. I had to run out to Best Buy and get a new camera. Holy shit.
Let me ask a question here. So this is something like, so my failures in the startups that I was in, it took me a couple failures to realize what my role should be. Like, you know, and so the question I have is, you know, I feel like, you know, someone who's just working a job, you know, they're doing whatever, and they're like, you know, I'm going to do a startup, I'm going to start my own company, or I'm going to start my own business. You know, there's qualities in their personality that, you know, maybe extroversion versus introversion. We're getting into your psychology stuff. So, you know, there's something that's they're gonna be really good at, and there's gonna be things that they're gonna trying to do the startup, they're gonna learn a hard lesson really quickly. And I think one of the best things that if I was ever mentoring some young entrepreneurs, it would be try to be very attentive to where you suck. Like, I think that's, you know, because
you gotta know.
Yeah.
You gotta know what you're
You want to
good
learn
at and
fast.
what you suck at. You
Yeah,
know, let somebody else do what you suck at.
Yep.
You know,
you want to learn that really fast. And, you know, and that's, you know, and I think I learned right away that, you know, I'm someone who designs things, and builds things, and I'm not necessarily
creative.
Yeah, I'm more the creator, and not necessarily the guy who's going to execute and drive the company and sell and all the other kind of mundane, you know,
Yep.
and even the mundane aspects of the business.
Sure.
And you know, and so it's funny because I partnered up with someone who's very much he's got the brain for the mundane stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good partnership because we'll balance each other out, and we kind of did. So, you know, but of course the business still, you know, didn't go where it was going. And so it's like,
sure.
Okay, you know, I'll learn, you know, maybe next time I'll learn how to pick a partner, you know, something. So.
Yeah, I think David and I would be quite scary if we were to team up on something.
I think it'd be
that
a
could
lot
go
of fun.
either way. That could go either way.
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Here's the thing, though. This is my piece of advice. And I'm not saying this is the way to do it by any means. This is just 100% me. I've never had a plan. I've never made a business plan in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you how everything was going to work out. I could just tell you step by step, today we're going to be facing this, and this is what we're going to be dealing with. And once we do that, other shit may come. So nothing was ever perfect. And honestly, it's never going to be perfect. Like, if you're waiting for that perfect day to come so you can start your business, you're never going to have a business. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or so it's like, you legit need to give it a freaking go and just go with it. As things come, you tackle them, you know, but don't wait, and you will never know everything. You'll never have a full plan. That's just not how the business world is, especially nowadays. And that's the only thing, honestly, that I've done is I'm just like, it's a good idea, it's a good product, it's a good whatever it may be. Let's just freaking hit it, and as shit comes, then we'll take care of that when it happens. You know.
I love it.
What do you think about what do you think also about in terms of attitude? It's you know, it's interesting because you know, well, I know it is, and it's interesting because when I think of another, you know, when you know, I worked with VinWiki, you know, to build the app, and working with Ed, you know, Ed's got a spirit that drives. It's like it. Working with him taught me a lot. Actually, working with him taught me about the attributes of a good entrepreneur. You know, he's someone who, you know, channeled a kind of a hope. He channeled this optimism. He didn't let anything that knocked him take him down at all. There's a degree of grace, I think. There's all these kind of fundamental principles that one develops that, you know, that you have to have, so that you can kind of persevere through this stuff. And, you know, and you know, he like you, I think that's it. You know, you just jump feet first. You may not know everything, but you just go. You know, execution first. And if you make a mistake, who cares? You know, because I'm the designer engineer type of person, I can't tolerate making mistakes. So it's like, I always plan, you know, and that makes me a little, you know, and so it's like, you know, I need someone to bust down the walls in front of me to kind of come, you know, but when I look at how people do that, I think there's something to be said for this kind of spirit that a person possesses to be able to do it, where it's like, they can take it on the chin and just keep on going, you know?
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. And it's never going to be easy. And for sure, never going to be comfortable, you know, like, if you're comfortable, you're not moving in life, in whatever aspect of life that may be, whether it's your relationship, business, from a fitness perspective. If you're comfortable at the gym, you're not changing. You know, if you're comfortable with your diet, it's not going to change you, you know, like same thing, you know. So it's like you need to learn to be uncomfortable. And the more you're uncomfortable in everything, the quicker you move. It's not comfortable once again, you know, but that's just how it works, you know. So
sad but true.
And priorities. I have so many people like, it's just all these excuses. You were talking about mindset, say like, oh, I just don't have time. And I'm like, you don't have time. I'm like, what do you do? Oh, well, you know, I work 60 hours a week. And I'm like, damn, I mean, that's a lot of time. However, you know, do you watch TV? Do you watch Sunday football? Like, do you do any of those things? Oh, yeah. It's like, that's your fucking time right there.
Right.
You know,
we all have the same 24 hours.
We all have the same 24 hours. And if you're freaking watching TV an hour a day, because that's your wind down time because you've had a rough day at work, it's like, switch away from that so you can have a legit day at work making a shit ton of money, you know, and stop watching TV, you know, or I don't have money to say blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, do you drink beer? Do you smoke cigarettes? It's like, no, okay, well, we need to freaking stop doing that and save that freaking money, you know? So it's like, you just got to prioritize what you want, you know, and just freaking hit it, you know?
I love it.
No excuses, guys. No excuses.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. So I got a huge, wonderful idea from a friend of mine. Her name is Sarah. Hi, Sarah. She lives in Texas, and we used to work together at 2 locations. And she's quite the sweetie, and brilliant and beautiful. And she reached out to us on our Instagram page and on our YouTube, and suggested we should come up with a cool ending toast for us to do as a group and for our audience to do with us at the end of every show. So I came up with something, and I am open to suggestions.
Oh,
wow.
But
I want to hear yours, but
okay,
this is empty, so I gotta do a mini pour because I'm out of ice, and this freaking high octane.
Oh my God! Right.
130 without ice. It's just the flavors just don't come out, and all you get is the
right. Well,
all you get is the
when the ice is melted.
Flavor, you gotta dilute it down. Yeah.
When the ice is melted, that's like the sands through the hourglass. It's the end of the podcast.
yes, no ice.
Right. So okay. So I was thinking, no matter where you've been or who you know, find the courage and give it a go.
Hey,
woo, that's awesome.
Cheers to that.
Thank you, Raul.
One second.
Wait.
We'll make it super quick. I was in Spain in 2018, and we go to this hotel. We're in Barcelona. We ended up in the wrong side of freaking Barcelona in a hotel because my wife told me she wanted to stay at Las Ramblas. So I got a hotel at Las Ramblas. Well, what I didn't read is that I got a hotel at Las Ramblas Rival, which is the red district of it. So we get to this hotel. And you kind of know where this goes. And the bartender, whenever we get there, they give us drinks. And not the bartender, the front desk, the whatever guy, where you check in, he's like, all right, guys, are y'all gonna do cheers? And I'm like, sure, cheers. And he's like, no. This is how we do it. Here, we say this thing, and then you basically do it as you cheer. So I was like, well, bring it. So I'll say it in Spanish, and I'll tell you guys what it means. You know, so it's pa arriba, pa abajo, pa el centro, y pa dentro. Okay, and that means up, down, go forward, and inside. It doesn't make sense in English, but it rhymes really good in Spanish. So awesome. Let's make that toast, and we'll just give it a go.
Awesome.
All right, so arriba.
Yep.
Arriba.
Abajo.
Pa el centro. Y pa el centro. Yeah, y pa dentro.
Rock on.
Awesome.
Give it a go.
Cool.
Woo! Raul,
hey,
we thank
you.
With
you guys.
Oh my God, we are
awesome.
So thrilled to have you. This may end up being a 2-part. because it was such amazing information. And just thank you so much for the incredible amount of time that you gave us today. It's so great to have you. And we're just welcome back anytime. And
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
And honestly, just, I mean, continue on in your success and your endeavors. And my love to Ashlyn and Aspen.
Thank you. Same to you guys.
Thank you. So
All right.
I'm Melina.
Dave.
And
Raul.
there you go. Give it a go. Love you guys.
Give
See
it a
you
go,
next
guys.
Bye, y'all.
Yeah.